Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, and I'm glad that you have taken a few minutes away from shopping for a wedding gift for Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift to join me here and get caught up on some of the latest news involving our favorite team in the NFL, that is, of course, the Cleveland Browns. Thank you to everyone who has liked our previous episodes, to everyone who is subscribed to the channel. I can taste 9,000 subscribers. That's how close we are. I will change the fit. Let's get there by the end of the week. I already know what I'm wearing. I got it picked out. I'm ready to go. All I need is to get to 9,000. We'll change the fit for one day. Thank you to everyone who has scanned the QR code. I can never do this right. There it is. The QR code. Thank you for scanning that and becoming a member of the Browns' latest dog pound. And to everyone who has jumped into the viewer comment section and made their voices heard. Now, coming up on today's show. Now, the only thing that could really upstage the trade of Kenny Pickett from the Browns to the Raiders is Kelce and Swift announcing their engagement. But it was also cutdown day, and all the cuts happened. But there's one that surprised me the most. We now have a 53-man roster and a practice squad taking shape. But I am still really worried about one position. Also, we have got to stop the talk about the Browns targeting Arch Manning. And then down in the viewer comments, someone has already put the Browns' 2026 draft plan together. For the love of God, we just cut the team down to 53. We'll get to it. All right, here we go. We know we always start, we start with the schedule. Today, 2:30 is a practice. Tomorrow, noon. Apparently, maybe Coach Stefanski has somewhere to get to. They're practicing at noon. Friday, no schedule. They're getting back, it's that regular season mode. No game this weekend. Don't forget. Now, they cut down to 53. Most surprising moves. Now, for me, well, here, let's do this. Let's start here. Let's take a look at let's show you the roster. Let's go. Let's walk through it. There's the quarterbacks, Flacco, Gabriel, and Shador. We knew about that. Look at a little bit of a surprise here. Running backs, Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson. Now, I'm the guy that's been telling you for months they always keep 3 running backs. You know what this tells me? Now, Amani Marshall is headed to the practice squad as long as he clears waivers. Keep your fingers crossed. But what this tells me is that they are close with Judkins. Something is going to happen. They've obviously kept that spot open, and then they'll move someone around. But Judkins is looming. That's what that tells me. That the fact that they kept Ford and Sampson, and that's it. There's your wide receivers: Isaiah Bond, DeAndre Carter, Jerry Jeudy, Gage Larvidan, Jamari Thrash, and Ced Tillman. Now, Carter was here, then he was gone, and then maybe Shador thought he was going to get number 2 back again because Carter was gone. But then Carter was like, no, we were kidding. Carter's back. Deontay Johnson's gone, which we've been telling you for the last couple of weeks. We thought Deontay Johnson he just did nothing for me. As did, Pierre Strong, gone. We told you about that. Now, little bit of a surprise that they kept 4 tight ends, Bates and Fanning. We knew Fanning Jr. and Njoku was a lock. I figured Whiteheart was a lock, but you go, Brendan Bates. And then the linemen: Bitonio, Conklin, Jenkins, Jones. Levinston is the guy they just traded for from the Rams. Apparently, they must have watched him on Saturday and then said, all right, yeah, sure, we'll take him. And then Cornelius Lucas, a pickup over the season. Pochik, Wyatt Teller, Whippler, who had a great preseason, and Zach Zinter. He's from Michigan, but he's a Brown now, so we like him. Now, the defense. Let's talk about the defense. There's your linemen. They got a lot of them. Collins, Garrett, Mason Graham, Mike Hall Jr., who we've kind of forgotten about. And he was medically cleared, so that is another surprise. Might be the biggest. Everybody thought he was heading to IR. And he turns it around, and he's on the roster. That's going to be huge to add him to the mix with Shelby Harris. Aiden Huntington had a great preseason. McGuire, Thomas, Shoenka, and Alex Wright. I'm telling you, man, this defensive line is ridiculous, and it's deep. The linebackers, there you see there, Baker, Bush. Bush, we're going to lose him. He'll be. Maybe that's who Judkins will replace Bush. Maybe that's what they'll do. They'll swap him out because Bush will definitely be suspended at some point. People are still saying Judkins could be suspended, but I don't feel that. Why would they leave that spot? Why would they? There's a hole. There's a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. See what I did there? There's your DBs. No surprise there, but this could be the biggest surprise of all. Holy Schmidt! Andre Schmidt is our new kicker. Borges is an android, so we knew that was happening. But there you go. That could be the surprise move of the entire cut down period is Holy Schmidt being the kicker. But for me, this is also the most worrisome position, our kicking situation, because let me show you this. We had Dustin Hopkins, who has been here for a little while and balled out in 2023. So they just said, well, let's pay this guy. So they did, and then he fell off the map. You can see there, 91%, almost 92% of his field goals he converted in 2023, and he was 24 of 26 for 92% on extra points. But then last year, the wheels came off the wagon. I think all of that money in his pockets affected his leg or something. Couldn't get it up high enough. I don't know, but 66%. Well, we'll round it up. We'll be nice. 67%. And then 85% on the extra points, which we want 100% on the extra points. So, and then there he is, Andre Schmidt. Holy Schmidt. He's never kicked in an NFL regular season game. Apparently, when he kicked the game winner against the Rams, that was it. They locked him up. They're like, this is our guy. If he can kick a preseason game winner, shoot, he should be able to kick in a regular season game, right? Here's the thing. In 2018, he was the best kicker in college. 2018 Lou Groza Award. The nation's top kicker. Played at Syracuse, but he's 26. He's been kind of bouncing around. The Bears drafted him, and now we got him. So that's who you had to pick from, folks. Those were your choices. The guy who forgot how to kick, and then the guy who has never kicked in the NFL. So we went with the guy who's never kicked in the NFL. He's 26. I don't know. Maybe he's got a little life in that leg since he's younger. But for me, most worrisome position. I got to tell you, our man, Thraso Thrasavulu, who is the greatest talent evaluator that nobody knows. But you know him because we had him on the show. He said, Hopkins doesn't pass the bathroom test for him. And the bathroom test is what he uses to judge his kickers. The bathroom test is this. If any time we line up for a kick, he should feel comfortable that he comfortable enough that our kicker will make the kick so he can get up and go to the bathroom before the commercials start. Because he knows he's going to make it. Doesn't need to worry about it. Hopkins didn't pass the bathroom test for Thraso. And so, apparently he called Coach Stefanski and said, this guy doesn't pass the bathroom test. I can't go to the bathroom until after he kicks. You're wasting my time. And so Stefanski agreed and said, you're right. He's gone. Schmidt will allow you to go to the bathroom. Not just Thraso, but all Browns fans. So remember that. When Schmidt's kicking, just go. If you got to go, just go. Because Lou Groza Award winner. So that's going to be, but seriously, folks, that's going to be something to watch. That is a big deal. They terminated Hopkins' contract just like that. How quickly things change. That's what I'm saying, man. In the NFL, man, not for long. Not for long. That's what it stands for. Got to remember that. Okay. The other thing we got to stop doing here is this. Talking about Arch Manning. Big conversation in the viewer comments after the trade of Pickett, and they get a draft pick back, and of course they have draft pick, and I broke it down, all the draft picks that they have, and I just happened to mention that there is a possibility they could be setting themselves up to move up and do some things in that draft in 2026. Deep breath. Arch Manning is not coming out. Everybody was jumping in the comments and saying, they really want Arch Manning. They're going to go get Arch Manning. That's who they want. The problem is Arch Manning is not coming out next year. Archie has already said, his grandfather, Archie, has already said he is staying at Texas for at least another year. He'll be eligible for the 2026 draft, but Manning is not coming out. Haslam doubled down on it and said no. I talked to Gramps. He says no. The Haslams and the Mannings are tight. So it does make sense for everybody to think, maybe there's something there. Maybe the Browns, maybe Haslam, maybe they line it up and they do whatever it takes to get Manning in here. It's not going to happen. Not next year. Now, the other thing is this. Eli and Peyton both played all 4 years of college. Now, that was a little bit of a different time, but if it's a family thing and they want him to stay in school, the family's going to say you're staying in school. I don't think he'll make it all 4 years, but he's not coming out next year. All right. If they didn't, I'm not saying the Browns would do this, but I'm saying if they did do this, if they decided we still need a quarterback when the 2026 draft comes along, and they make some trades, they take these picks and they trade things out, I think they would target Drew Aller. He is from here. He grew up in Medina, played at Medina High School. Ohio State had like 9 quarterbacks when he was coming out. So he's like, well, forget that. James Franklin wants me. Franklin was flying in on helicopters to his high school games to watch him. And then flying in on a Friday night and flying out back to Happy Valley so he could get to his game on Saturday. And so Drew Aller went to Penn State. I think the Browns would try to recreate a Bernie Kosar situation and bring the hometown kid home if they were going to do this. Because I'm telling you that LSU's quarterback is going to the Saints. We'll have more on that in a minute. But that's what I'm telling you, folks. You got to stop with the Arch Manning stuff. It's not happening. Not at all. It would be, if anything, Drew Aller. But we already have our franchise quarterback in the room. His name is Shedeur. And his last name is Sanders. That's where we're at. Until proven otherwise, Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback of the future. They're going to develop him. Dylan Gabriel will be our backup. We're set for the next 5 years. That's how it goes. Now, Arch Manning won't be a number 1 pick next year, but the viewer comments are always a number 1 pick. And we'll start with Jezib-X3H, who says, the Browns are locked in at quarterback. Just wait. 12 is going to shine. We need to be looking ahead to next year's draft for wide receiver 2. For Nick Harbor is his guy. And that's another South Carolina guy. We could pair him with Larvidan. We might have something going there. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do with Judy, too. But everybody's already like, we got to get through this season. Why is everybody paying attention to the draft already? Jeff O'Donnell, here we go. Next year, we will need those number 1s to draft a tackle and a corner, and the second round to draft another tackle, and then the third round to draft another corner. That's our draft plan. That's what we teased at the top. Jeff O'Donnell's got us all taken care of. Now, Jeff O'Donnell doubled down and says, hey, I think the Saints might be tanking. And I'm going to tell you that 100% the Saints are tanking this year. Spencer Rattler is their quarterback. Why? Because they're tanking this year. They kicked the tires on him last year. I told you Tyler Shuck. We talked about this. Going to suck. Oh, yeah, by the way, another ACC quarterback, Kyle McCord, former Buckeye, threw for 1 million yards last year with Syracuse. Yeah, cut by the Eagles. ACC, there's no defense in the ACC. These guys get to the pro teams and they're like, what are all those guys out there? What am I looking at? Why are those? Get those guys out of the way. They're like, no, that's the defense. You didn't have that in the ACC. No, we have it in the NFL. Those are defenders. So, cut. Kyle McCord didn't know what a defense was. And here's why the Saints are tanking. We talked about this before. Their offensive coordinator is Doug Nussmeier, the father of Garrett Nussmeier, LSU's quarterback. Him and Klubnik are going head to head this weekend. It's LSU and Clemson. That's going to be a good one. You got Ohio State, Texas. Dude, it's rarely, man, that's what I love about college football now is like, man, you get awesome games like right out of the gate. Back in the day, it used to be you got to suffer through Ohio State versus, Akron and whatever else. But good games this week. There is your update on the draft already. Stop with the draft stuff. This is a great take. Johnson Fisher, 9,500. He says, I believe Shedeur has great potential to be a difference maker for the Browns. However, I do not believe he deserved being on the list because of his last game. Remember we listed the Browns put out their top preseason players, and I said Shedeur should be on the list along with Mason Graham and Thrash, but they didn't have them on the list. And hey, by the way, that list, Gabriel wasn't like the top guy. There were just names. There was no order. They were those were the 5 people. He continues about Shedeur. He says he definitely went back to the old hold the ball, trying to make the big play rather than playing in rhythm with the Stefanski model. 3 quarterbacks played with the 3rd and 4th O-line. Dillon was very effective, taking what the defense gave him on rhythm and quickly. Reviewing film of Shedeur showed he missed several open 5 to 10 yard passes and often bailed backwards or to the side where there were good opportunities for quick passes. Once the defense saw he could be pressured, they put their ears back and kept Shedeur moving. This was a good lesson for him, and I believe he understands it. That's what I'm saying. Did he make some mistakes? Yes. Did he miss open receivers? When you saw the tape, and Dan Orlovsky did a nice breakdown of this whole thing, but when you saw the tape, yes, he did miss some guys. So it's not all on the O-line, but Orlovsky said the same thing I said. Totally learned from it, totally coachable, not a big deal. Let's move on and never talk about it again. But that was a great take, Johnson Fitzer. And we will end on this. Ant B Live 7755, who said, let Sanders get his 2 jersey back. Thought he had it. That DeAndre Carter thing was the strangest thing because it's like, DeAndre Carter, he's cut. DeAndre Carter's back. Because when he's cut, I said, oh, Shedeur could get 2 back now. And then they're like, no, wait, he's still back. And I'm like, oh. Okay, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that, but I figured they would keep. He is fast. Saw him at camp, and man, oh man, he is lightning quick. But Larvidan's returning kicks too. So all of this stuff seemed to fall into place, folks. I felt like the Johnson, Pierre Strong, like everything, like I was. There weren't that many surprises to me. Just a couple. We mentioned them off the top, but. All right, we're good to go now. All we got to do is get Judkins in the fold now. Let's get that situation squared away, and then let's go beat the Bengals on September 7th. And make sure, whether it's a waffle iron, I don't know, cutlery, whatever you're going to get for Travis and Taylor, just get that done before week 1 because you don't want to be going shopping week 1. You got to get that stuff done. Get the wedding gifts early, and you're all set. All right. Thanks for joining us. That'll do it for today. Go Browns. We will see you next time.